Warning, the opinions expressed in the following program are that of the host and or guest. They do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Complex Networks, Yahoo Sports, its affiliates, or any employee thereof. This show may contain adult humor and profanity and may not be suitable for general audiences. Now that we got all that corporate bullshit out the way, let's start the show.
What's the first rule of Fight Club?
There is no Fight Club.
What? Hell no, man. We in a Fight Club right now. How are we gonna be in a Fight Club if there is no Fight Club?
Wait, then what's the first rule of Fight Club?
The first rule of Fight Club is to only fight objects that don't fight back. Fans, nets, coolers, and Eli Manning.
OBJ, that don't make no sense.
Sense? I'm OBJ. I don't gotta make sense to make dollars. I got the best hands in the league. Excuse me, what was that? What was that? What's up there? Square up there. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? No, y'all back up. Chill. Man, I'm out of here.
Yo, OBJ, it ain't even halftime yet.
OBJ's punching stuff, and the Giants owner wants him to shut his mouth. The NFL is underway, and no one's muzzling us here on Mostly Football. We always speak our minds. Today I'm joined, of course, by the Super Bowl champ, Martellus Bennett, and true OG himself, the living legend, and an old personal friend of mine, Bun B. I don't know if you knew this about Bun B. We go way back, Marty.
Way back.
Way back. Yeah, look.
Because both
one
y'all
time I wore a
old as
T-shirt
shit.
that I stole from Freddy Krueger to a nightclub, and I ran into Bun B. That's my guy. So shout out to Smash Time Saturdays.
I had on some big ass clothes. You look like you auditioning for Gay and Sarah Marshall.
We're going to be putting you on the spot tonight, Bun, because you're not just here as a guest, you're a guest host. We've got a tournament-style bracket of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time, and Bun B is going to crown a champ. Plus, time to pay up on last week's gambling debt. Someone here is going to eat these nasty-looking Rocky Mountain oysters. Please tell me they're fried, and please tell me it's not me. Plus, actor Josh Duhamel, not just another pretty face. Dude's got some serious football skills. Oh, right there. Wow, we're all in shock out here. Wow, the really handsome guy who looks like a quarterback can catch punts. Oh. Oh. Oh, shit.
I could do this all day. I love this.
Those are terrible hips.
On my hips over here, really?
Yeah, if you gotta turn your whole body to turn and look over your shoulder, your hips are bad.
All right,
you gotta be able to just rotate your neck and keep running forward.
All right, moving on. We're being kind when we say two struggling teams are playing tonight on Thursday Night Football, streaming live on Yahoo. The 2-4 Denver Broncos got a 4-game losing streak. They're going up against the 1-5 Arizona Cardinals. It features the two worst run defenses in the NFL. Marty's best friend, Desi, was so disgusted by tonight's matchup. Desi was like, I'm off this. I'm going to London. So Desi went over across the pond for the Titans and Chargers.
Hello, MFers. This is best mate Desi coming to you live from jolly old England. The Thursday night game is kind of boo-boo, so they sent me worst class on Spirit to London for the slightly less boo-boo Titans-Chargers game. And y'all not going to believe who's trying to get interviewed today. Hey, go ahead and tell them who you claim to be.
I'm the Queen.
The Queen of what?
Of bloody England.
You better go to the store with that. Can y'all believe that nonsense? The only queen I recognize is Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter. Now you better get in formation. This is Desi Brown for MFBN. Back to you in the studio. Cheerio.
Got budget, man. We're sending correspondence all over the world. Shout out to best friend Desi.
Beyonce dancing and shit. Well, that's your boy, though, right? That's my friend. Yeah.
Well, one thing I know about you, in addition to being close friends with Desi, is that you love weed and you love to dress up, right? These are two things that I say are accurate about Marty.
Yeah. You're talking about Marty, right?
Talking about Marty. No, I'm not talking about Bun. No, we're talking about Marty.
Still works.
All
Works
right,
both
so
ways.
we're gonna have you put this on. We'll do a little Marty Thomas, okay? So we got a little
What's this right
we got a
here?
little wizard's outfit for you.
I love these costumes.
Yeah, I know you're into this. This will get you going. So here, and you put, yeah.
It's okay. There's still not movie quality.
Yeah. And that's put your Marty Thomas hat on there.
You channeling your inner Clinton Portis right here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's one of my
Shout out to
favorites
Clinton
to watch.
Portis, friend
He's
of
on
the
the show.
show.
He came to the show.
I want you to look into the future.
That's the homie right
And I want you to tell me what's going to happen in the NFL. We call this Marty Thomas. All right, first up, Marty Thomas. Last week, your New England Patriots beat the Chiefs 43-40 in a thriller. TB12 outdueled Pat Mahomes, but it was a preview, Marty, of the AFC Championship game. Was it a preview of the AFC Championship game?
Well, I think that's a good chance that it would end up that way because the teams are usually in it. You got the Ravens that still have a chance, you know what I'm saying? And then you have, you know, the Kansas City still one of the hottest teams. Even though they lost in good fashion. It's a good game. And you never count the Patriots out because they get better and better as the year goes on. So I do see my Patriots in the AFC Championship this year. And it could be Kansas City in there as well.
Bobby Boucher, who you got over there, Bun B?
Well, I don't know, man. I really like what Mahomes is doing right now. He's reminding me of how DeShaun started last year, really good, you know what I'm saying? Assimilated to the team, really strong, and he's getting that ball out there, making incredible plays. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw these guys in the championship game.
And you know the NFL loved that game too, right? 43-40.
That's what they want, a shootout. They want a shootout.
12. Yeah, that was the total win for the NFL.
Pass
now,
versus
an
feature.
ugly moment, however, in the game also happened. This wasn't a win for the NFL. A Pats fan threw a beer in Tyreek Hill's face after he scored a touchdown. No, that fan was not me. I was here in L.A. Marty Thomas, is it only a matter of time before we see a mouse in the palace in the NFL? Like, what do you think about fans throwing beers at players?
I mean, fans say all kinds of rude shit and throw shit at guys all the damn time. Like, fans could be dicks sometimes. There are a lot of great fans, but they're like, if you take a population of people, there's going to be dicks in that population. And every fan's not like that. A lot of fans, even when other teams score, they understand the game. They root for guys. They understand that's a good competitive spirit. Throwing a beer in someone's face is just a low blow. If a player was to throw water on a fan or throw anything at a fan, even to throw a middle finger at a fan, it's so frowned upon. But someone could throw the beer on it. The NFL should do something about it. The Patriots did something about it already, so I was excited to see that. And it's just, I mean, it's just fucked up.
Yeah, and you know what? This wouldn't have happened 30 years ago. 30 years ago, this dude would have thrown a beer at Giant Stadium or a snowball on Christmas, and he wouldn't have gotten arrested or anything. Now there's video, you're getting arrested, so you got to be, like you said, happy to see the Patriots handle it this way.
Yeah, you know, you want people to come and enjoy the game, and yeah, people get upset and angry about different stuff, but you got to keep it in the stands, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look at the game last night with the Astros. We had a fan getting away of the ball last night, you know what I'm saying? He's lucky people didn't put hands on him last night, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, you want to be involved with the game. You want to show the energy. You want to, you know, give it up for your team and, you know, say F the other team or whatever. But you just got to stay in the stands. Keep it in the stands.
Well, it's definitely
I would say Patriots fans are some of the best fans I ever got to play for. So that isn't a look at what Patriot fans are like, because Patriot fans have always been great. They understand the game. They root for other teams when they play well. Like, they're not sore losers, you know, so that was just interesting. He's probably had one too many beers. He's probably on that Kavanaugh diet.
Too many
Patriots fans can be sore winners sometimes, though.
They are sore winners.
I've been to a couple of games, and they just, you know, they gave us grief, man, because they would handle us so bad. I took a Giants fan to a Patriots game. They weren't even playing the Giants, and they gave him grief the entire game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you're a winner, you're a winner.
Yeah, if something tells you nobody's throwing a beer in Bun B's face out at Foxborough.
Nah,
that's not going down.
I've had that happen one time.
Yeah, didn't end well.
Didn't happen again.
Well, 41-year-old Tom Brady earned his 200th victory, best all-time, passing for 341 yards and scored 2 touchdowns. Dude is 18 years older than Patrick Mahomes. How does Tom keep beating Father Time? Roll it.
People think I just dominate Father Time on the football field. Truth is, I dominate Father Time in everything.
What do I think about Tom Brady? That mother sucked my from the back.
Game! I told you I was nice on the sticks.
Let's go again. That's 6 out of 11.
Game! You can't beat me. I'm Tom Brady, bro.
Call.
It's a full house. Beat that, bro.
Royal flush. Finally beat you, Tommy boy. Hey, slow down, Tommy.
What's this?
Oh, hey.
You cheating?
A little spy game. Oh.
Let's go!
Well, it's definitely a good time in Boston. The Red Sox are rolling, and of course, TB12 is beating Father Time. But things are popping out here in LA, too. The Dodgers are a game away from the World Series. LeBron's playing for the Lakers, and the Rams are the best team in the NFL. Todd Gurley was a man possessed, and the Rams beat the Broncos to improve to 6-0. Marty Thomas, will the Rams lose a game this season?
Yeah, they will definitely lose.
Come on, man, 16-0.
No, it's not going to go 16-0.
Why not? Why are the Rams going to lose? What?
I mean, even like last week beating the Broncos, it was a tough game for them to win. It came down. It wasn't like a blowout, and you playing against Case Keenum. They're going to run into some other people.
On the road in Denver, beating Von Miller and that defense, like that's a big win.
Yeah, but the defense, that defense is not what it used to be.
I don't know. What do you think of these Rams this year? Is it all hype?
I like them. I don't think they're going to go undefeated, but I like them. I like them to go all the way, actually. I think it's an amazing team right now. Jared is playing balls out, you know what I'm saying? Todd Gurley is the truth. There's no way around that. He's the fucking truth. And I think they might run across a bump or two. I mean, you know, they're not playing perfect football, but they are pulling out the wins, and that's really all it takes.
Yeah, I got to stay healthy, too. Already starting to have some injuries in the secondary and with Cooper Kupp. So we'll see. And what happens, you know, what happened last time a team went 16-0? So lost in the Super Bowl. So I would rather them lose a game or two and then win in Atlanta. So.
Right. I think losing is how you learn the most.
All right. Deep shit from Marty Bennett.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. No wonder why Derek Carr was apparently crying during the Raiders games, because the Raiders absolutely stink. Another team in California not having success this year. They lost to the Seahawks. They dropped to a miserable 1-5. Marty Thomas, looking to the future. When will their $100 million coach, John Gruden, get fired?
It looks like this $100 million was a bad investment. Right now, he's really losing the team, because now it comes up there. Amari Cooper is on the trading block. They're trading all these guys that were built there for a while that could really play at a high level, and Gruden doesn't fuck with them, and those are guys that players fuck with, you know what I'm saying? So if you're not fucking with us, we're not fucking with you. So Gruden's been trying to get rid of as many people as he can to win the locker room, to start a new locker room, so those guys don't understand.
House by the time they go to Vegas and start anew from then. Like, what do you think of Gruden's short stint so far back with the Raiders?
I really hate that he took this job. I think that Gruden had a really good reputation before he took on this team, and I'm not sure if anybody could have really turned this team around in enough time. And they had to overpay him because how much money he was getting paid to broadcast, you know? So they really, really overpaid for Gruden. And don't get me wrong, he's a great coach, and I know everybody likes the nostalgic factor of him being with the Raiders and whatever, but, I mean, that team's going downhill fast.
This Gruden thing is like when they remake movies. It's like, that movie was great.
Yeah.
Why'd you try to remake it? It's not as good as the first one was.
I don't care if you put Denzel Washington in Manchurian Candidate.
I don't
Give me the
care.
one with Frank instead.
The first one's better, like whatever it is. It's just like.
A wise man told me about 40 seconds ago that losing is when you learn the most. So I don't know what.
Yeah, but there's only so much losing.
Okay, all right. There's only so much. Yeah.
If they learn their lessons from the 1 loss, 2 losses, 3 losses, 4 losses, 5 losses, then the joke's on you, motherfucker.
Well, someone who's not doing some losing is Raiders defensive end Bruce Irvin. He took the 27-3 loss right in stride, saying after the game, "We lost, but I've got a beautiful wife I get to go home to. Boy, I'm going to try to make some babies, man." So, yeah, Bruce Irvin.
Family first.
Not losing, family first.
That's what I say, family first. A man's got his priorities. That's all I can say.
And I do see a baby in the future of Bruce Irvin. Maybe even twins, because that boy was getting it in.
Another week, still no sign of Le'Veon Bell. We talk about it every week on Mostly Football. The Steelers standout reportedly was going to show up this week during Pittsburgh's bye week. Not so much, Marty. Marty Thomas, when will Bell show up, pass go, and collect his $850,000 per week?
I like this because I think he was smart with his money. Because you can't make these type of decisions if you wasn't smart with the money you already had. So that tells me that Le'Veon has great investments and he's investing in himself right here. I think he shows up at the very last minute that he can show up. So wherever that deadline is to cross that finish line, that's when he shows up.
Like a 105 start and he walks into the stadium at 104?
He has to show up that late because otherwise he forfeits his free agency.
Can you imagine leaving this much money on the table every single week? Do it once or twice to make a point, and then after a while.
I haven't been in that kind of monetary situation where I had to put that kind of money on the line, but I do understand having to stand up for some respect. And, you know, however much money they want to pay him, it's obviously not worth the disrespect that I guess he feels from the organization. And at the end of the day, if you get all that money but you still don't feel respected, you can't really enjoy that money, to me anyway. There's only so many vacations and boat trips you could take before you still be like, yeah, but things ain't right, you know?
Yeah.
And just look at what happened to Earl Thomas.
Yeah, exactly.
He was holding out. He decided to go, broke his leg.
Went off on a cart, giving the finger.
They gave him a pat on the back. He's a fierce competitor, you know, when Pete Carroll goes up there and starts talking like Joel Osteen, you know, and, he's just a guy, he's going through some things, he's looking on the bright side. We love Earl here, and Earl's just like, you know what, Pete, fuck you.
Yeah, we don't want to see the Le'Veon Bell movie end that way. So I hope next week on Mostly Football, we're talking about him actually playing football.
It'd be interesting to see him in there now. I mean, it's, for me, it was personal because that's the guy I draft on fantasy every year. So not having him there, but I ended up getting Gurley, so I'm still.
Oh wow! Okay.
But I don't get why.
If richer over there.
If somebody doesn't want to play for you, they don't want to be a part of your organization. You clearly don't want them to be a part of your organization in the future. Why not trade them?
It's like a relationship breaking up, right? And we saw this week that Ariana Grande has broken up from Pete Davidson on Saturday Night Live. They started dating back in May. They got engaged in June, and they broke up this week. Marty Thomas, who do you think Ariana Grande is dating next? And do you think these guys maybe get back together?
Slow the fuck down, Ariana. You can't just keep jumping from one lily pad to the other lily pad. Lily pads have no roots. So you need to go get you a guy that has roots that you plan on being with a long time so that you guys can have a fruitful relationship. I'm tired of seeing, first of all, I don't know who Pete Davidson is, and Ariana has some great songs, I must admit. But all this dating shit, I don't give a damn about that. So I don't know who she's going to date, but it sounds like she need to get with a black man. Because once you go black, you don't go back.
Bun, I know you've had the birds and the bees conversation. Have you had the lily pads and roots conversation?
I have not had the lily pad conversation yet. I got a granddaughter 10 years old. I'm not looking forward to talking to her about sex, especially with people like Martellus alive and running around. Not that he would want a 10-year-old, but there's somebody, when she turns 18, there's going to be somebody 18 acting just like him looking for.
I always feel like this. As a father of a daughter, right, the ultimate goal is for her to marry someone that's like you, right? If she doesn't marry someone that's like me, then I feel like I messed up somewhere down the line.
Wow,
right?
I've never heard that philosophy.
So that means the way I love her mom, the way that I love my wife, the way I'm in a relationship, if she sees those things, I feel like if I'm doing a great job, she should want the same thing for her. So therefore, 98% of the population is already weeded out because only 2% of the men could possibly be similar to me, and there's only one me. So
that's a high percentage.
Yeah, I was about to say 2% of the men.
2%, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's definitely not 2% of the first population walking around like Martellus.
I've met a lot of people in my time here, man, and you might be one of a kind. So.
Well, thank you. I'll take that from you. That means a lot to me.
You might have a daughter that never gets married if she's got to marry somebody like you.
Well,
that'll be great.
You're one of a kind too, man. I've never met a legendary hip-hop MC who's also a professor. You're a professor at Rice University, so we wanted you to school us on some topics that you might be an expert on. So
Cool.
Let's start with the current state of hip-hop, shall we? Everybody was talking about the Drake and Pusha beef this summer. Pusha coming at Drake and cross the line maybe. Drake said recently on The Shop on HBO to LeBron and Maverick that there are rules to this. So are there rules to this when it comes to hip-hop beef?
There's rules to rap battles, but there are no rules to rap beefs. Because rap beefs don't necessarily start in a rap scenario and don't necessarily end in a rap scenario. So it could go any way anybody could want it to go. If somebody says something about my beautiful wife, I'm not breaking a record. I'm looking for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm probably going to try to put hands on you in some certain situations. And it just depends on when you jump out there if you're ready for the ramifications, because everybody's not going to just rap back. Everybody's not going to rap fair. Some people are going to take the lowest shots they can take, and you got to be prepared for all of that. So if you're not ready for it, just keep your mouth shut, catch them at the Super Bowl or something, coming out the concession stands and walk up on them like that. Or, like me, I like to catch people grocery shopping that I have issues with.
Produce section.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can throw. Tomatoes, cantaloupe.
Catch them by the cold cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hit him with that prosciutto.
But I mean, it's a part of the culture. There's always been artists that haven't gotten along and felt they needed to express it different ways. I remember the old school Ice-T and Kool Moe Dee battles, and Ice-T and LL Cool J, and man, Ice-T had a lot of beefs now. I think about it.
And now he's a cop. And now he's a detective on Law and Order.
He's a police officer.
Detective Tuluyo, however you say his name.
Gesundheit.
But it happens.
Bun, the city of Houston, obviously, near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
Great time on the sports scene in Houston right now.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Anytime you beat the Cowboys on national TV, and then the Astros, and now Melo's part of the Rockets. So what's going on in the city, bouncing back from a lot of tragedy as of late?
Well, we're all trying to, turn the city around, and the sports teams are doing a great job of keeping the locals engaged and keeping us from not thinking about all the crazy stuff that's happened to us. The Texans got off on a rough start, you know what I'm saying, but they're bouncing back right now. And in the city of Houston, if you lose 15 games but beat the Cowboys, that's the only 1-15 record that we'll respect. You know what I'm saying? As long as we beat the Cowboys, that's pretty much it. The Rockets are amazing right now. They lost that season opener, but I expect nothing but good things from them. It looks like Melo's becoming a good fit with those guys. And Melo's not there to take anybody's job. He's not there to be the #1 scorer on the team, which I think is refreshing for him. It allows him to play a more relaxed game and not be so stressed out about it because he's not expected to get 30, 40 points every night. Now, there will be some nights when somebody's hurt that they'll be expecting him to step up, but for the most part, Melo's just going to be that threat that, you know, comes in and always going to be well-rested and put up 4 or 5 threes in a game.
Great time in the city, man. Great time for the state of Texas.
Astros,
I'm from Houston, too, so.
I
just think the Rockets didn't get better this offseason, though. They didn't get better on defense.
And that's the thing. And that's the problem with the Rockets is defense, the Texans is offense.
Yeah.
That's our problem. The O-line hasn't gotten any better in the last 3-4 seasons.
Yeah, DeShaun took a step back this week, too.
And he's going
to didn't take us. It's hard to throw the ball when you get hit every single play. Well, I don't care how savvy you are.
He will end up being probably the most sacked quarterback in the league this year.
Yeah. But that's just the Texans' history because David Carr was the same thing.
Yeah, well, speaking of quarterbacks, wanted to get your thoughts on Colin Kaepernick and some of the moves he's made recently. You know, he trademarked his logo, had the big commercial, obviously, with Nike. Still hasn't found his way back onto a football field. So,
but this is what I talk about when I say sticking to your guns. You know what I'm saying? Colin is a guy that stayed the course, and it's starting to pay off for him. You know what I'm saying? He's still got his Nike deal. He's going to do crazy merch once he gets that logo right, puts those afros on T-shirts.
You know, it's the 50th anniversary of Tommy Smith, and the idea of athletes speaking out is nothing new, but it seems now more relevant than it
Well, and
did.
you got to understand, at the time, Tommy didn't get the credit that he should have for standing up for his rights then, and now we all look back at him as a legend and a trailblazer. So I think we'll do the same thing, and history is going to, you know, make all this Kaepernick stuff right. I think when years go by and we see exactly what it is that he's done for the world outside of sports, I think that's going to be his true legacy.
Yeah.
I think that athletes now, it's easier to be heard. You have your voice, you have your own following, you have millions of followers, you could voice your opinion, you could say these things. When back in the day, you had to rely on television or newspapers who may not give you an interview or may not give you the light of day to...
Or allow you to tell your story.
But now athletes understand that they can't tell their own stories. Yeah. And I think a lot of guys are doing that, whether it's Kaepernick, whether it's like whoever it may be, my brother, you know, all these guys are all speaking up and they are being heard because they have an audience of their own.
Well, now's the time in the show where we stop giving our opinions and we start giving a fuck. It's how many fucks? First up today, Ohio State defensive end Nick Bosa, Joey's little brother, the #1 projected overall pick next year, has left school to recover from an injured core muscle. I don't think I have any of those. And focus on getting ready for the NFL. Bosa returning to school after the injury. Marty, how many fucks?
I give a big fuck about this because this is what it's going to turn into. Guys are getting smart because they're not making money in college. You're risking everything for your future of making money. So if you get to a point where you know you get an injury, you go take care of yourself to get ready for the game. Don't get ready to go back and play for the school. You're not getting anything out of that. You know what I'm saying? They put you in dumbass classes. You know what I'm saying? You major in agriculture or some shit like that. But if you're me, you major in eligibility. And then you go from there. And
Is that what you majored in, eligibility?
Yeah, yes, that's what I majored in. So you prep yourself.
Is that the course you teach, Bun, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
So you prep yourself to go to the next stage.
Yeah. So what do you think about this guy not going back to school?
I think it's smart. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know, guys are like
How many fucks? How many fucks you give?
I give this a couple of fucks, like at least a couple of fucks, you know what I'm saying? 3 or 4 for sure, because it's time for people to learn to stop being able to, you know, stop letting these universities take advantage of your body and beat you up before you even have a chance to make anything of yourself. Universities make billions of dollars every year. They do new licensing deals with TV every couple of years. The money's coming into the universities. They're building huge stadiums for people to come and watch the games, but none of the students get any residual benefits. They give them a you know, like he says, a crazy little degree to something that they're never going to really apply, and then just use them up and spit them out. So I think it's a good thing that the dude is turning this on his head.
And then what people are going to say, well, you get a scholarship. But if I told you we made $80 million together and only gave you
30, 40 grand.
30, 40 grand out of that $80 million, you're gonna be like, where's my cut?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no.
What the fuck? Like, I get it. Like, yeah, like that's
No, I'm going. I give 10 Big 10 fucks about this because as a Michigan fan, I don't want any Bosas on the field for Ohio State. All right, next up, recreational weed became officially legal in all of Canada this week, and it's reported that pardons will be issued to those convicted of possessing 30 grams or less. Marty, how many fucks about Canada freeing all the cheaters?
I get 420 fucks about this because on 420, I'm probably gonna go celebrate in Canada this year.
See you in Montreal, huh?
But just don't fuck with the Canadian bacon. That shit's just ridiculous. I'm gonna bring some American bacon to Canada to smoke my weed with.
I don't know. Are you allowed to take bacon over the border like that?
I don't know.
I don't know. How many fucks you give about?
I'm giving all the fucks about this. This is beautiful. It's going to change the dynamic of how people look at Canada, or at least how I look at Canada. You know what I'm saying? People like to say Canada people are kind of laid back, they're too chill. Well, now we know why they're chill, because they're smoking all the goddamn weed. I think the big thing about this is pardoning all the possession cases, though. That's a huge, huge thing for people to not have to have, you know, be stigmatized by that kind of shit now. So, you know, in America, if you got weed cases and possession cases, it can help you where you want to move in at, where you get a job at, where you go to school at, all that kind of shit. Canadians don't have that problem anymore. You know what I'm saying? And for once, I would probably rather be a Canadian right now.
Yeah, the thing about America, though, is that they glorify beer, right? Kavanaugh, it's just beer. It's just beer. There's beer commercials on every football game. There's beer commercials. Then there's so many drunken driving accidents. There's so many beer is worse for you as a human being. Alcohol is worse for you as a human being than marijuana is.
Yeah, yeah. So now we, you know, we get to go to Canada when we want to kind of relax and chill out. So I give $6 about this. So
yeah,
shout out to Toronto in the
closer
States.
than Amsterdam.
There you go. Finally, Halloween is around the corner, and several states, including Virginia and North Carolina, have a 12 or 13-year-old age limit on trick-or-treating, some with misdemeanors or jail time for 13 or 14-year-olds who violate this law. Marty, how many fucks do you give about these kids trick-or-treating and getting arrested for being too old?
I give a king-size fuck about this, right? Because king-size candy bars are the best. I think 14 is a little bit too young. I think once you're out of high school, you know, college, maybe like that age, what the fuck you trick-or-treating for? I don't want no grown-ass kid knocking on my door talking about, trick-or-treat, smell my feet. No, motherfucker, get your ass off my porch. If you ain't got no kids, come to get some candy, what the fuck are you doing? You're a stranger danger. You could be trying to rob me at this time. So, like, nah, I'm with it. But I think 14.
14, though, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
37-year-old man shows up looking for a king-sized, you know, candy bar.
I don't need anybody with a deeper voice than mine knocking on my door talking about they want some candy. You fuck around and get shot.
Yeah. How many fucks you give? How many fucks you give?
I give a lot of fucks about this. I'm gonna give 9 fucks because that's what you're gonna see if you bigger than a 4-foot kid and knock on my door asking for some candy. You're gonna see my 9mm because we not with that shit.
Yeah, that's
I think it's and you got masks and shit on. It could be a lot of fuck shit at play with that.
That's what I'm saying. Then I was a kid. I went to the rich neighborhoods because they gave out king-size candy bars. In my neighborhood, they gave out Tootsie Rolls and shit. Nobody wants that. So if you
my neighborhood, they give out like almond butter and chia seeds.
Yeah, so if you are, my advice is if you are out there giving kids candy, don't fucking go buy that cheap shit. Give them the good candy, the Reese's Pieces. Especially the better the costume, the better the treat. You got a whack-ass costume, you get a whack-ass treat. You got a great-ass costume, you get the king-size treat. Just a message, a PSA.
So you giving motherfuckers rocks if they costume ain't good.
Yeah, like, what's this shit? If it's creative, though, like, if it's getting super creative and I see that you just used what you had to make your thing, then
then you're making like a four-course meal and just gonna.
Yeah, like, here's a cake, here's a slice of cake.
Here's a whole turkey. All right.
But give it candy.
I don't give a fuck about this. Honestly, Halloween is the dumbest holiday. Coming up next, I don't give a fuck.
So you don't eat candy, then that's what.
No, I don't eat candy.
All right, fuck that.
You don't know what you're talking about.
All right, coming up next, fantasy expert Liz Lowe's is going to drop some knowledge about DeShaun Watson and Drew Brees. Plus, Liz is always down to talk fantasy. Literally always down. Sometimes not a good idea, though.
Oh my gosh, congratulations!
Thank you! Saquon gave me the perfect fantasy start last night.
Isn't your boyfriend's name Jeff?
Yeah.
Everybody on the floor, this is a robbery! So how do you think this is gonna end?
It's tough to say. Yeah, I got robbed on that Emmanuel Sanders touchdown reversal. And I couldn't pull the trigger on starting Jameis Winston out of the bye. I'm down heading into the late games, but hopefully, hopefully Tyreek Hill rescues me.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I don't know how I can live with myself after starting Aaron Jones over Matt Breida. The win just slipped away, and my team isn't buried after this loss, but what if I don't turn it around? My playoff hopes are dead.
Oh, man.
I know a lot of people out there don't like to read these days, but it's time to kick back with a little fantasy lit. And here to drop some knowledge is the woman whose weekend plans always includes handcuffing her studs. I'm into the whole handcuff thing and in the role play thing, and it's my part-time party planner.
TMI.
Liz Loza. What's up, Liz?
All good. That swing I ordered you is on back order, so it might take a little bit.
Lamar Odom bought them all.
Hell no.
DeShaun Watson is taking a beating behind the Texas O-line this season. Are you worried about him in Jacksonville?
I think it's a reasonable expectation. I mean, he was sacked actually over the past 3 games a total of 15 times. And I know that everyone's talking about that O-line being trash and they're mad at Bill O'Brien for not doing something because it's a recurring problem. But also, DeShaun Watson's holding on to the ball like way too long. His time to throw is over 3 seconds, second only to Josh Allen.
Yeah, I think a lot of times a lot of sacks come down to the quarterback too. Young quarterbacks miking the right person, seeing the blitzes, moving the O-line, getting people back in the box, bringing the tight end out instead of having to run. Set them up to position to protect yourself to get the throw out. And once you start knowing what the coverage is and what they're bringing you, because they confuse a lot of young quarterbacks by miking this guy when you're supposed to mic the outside, the nickel Sam, who's going to be the one that's blitzing, which changes the whole rule for the offensive lineman. But it's also on the center to do the same thing. So if the center and the quarterback are not communicating with everybody else and the coaches are not setting them up in a position to understand what kind of package you're bringing on third down or first down whenever they blitzing the most, it's going to hurt him in the long run. But he also trusts his feet.
That's
a little
it.
bit too much.
Right.
I don't know anybody named Sam. I don't know anybody named Mike. I just know that this guy over here, as a Texans fan, has to be freaking out with some of those stats about DeShaun Watson.
It's the play calling for me, right? I get more upset with the play calling because, they're letting Bill do a lot of the play calling right now. And it's just really getting in the way. I would love to see them bring back the old Kubiak playbook. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let him run some more options. Let him spread the ball around a little bit more. Give him a little bit more opportunity because they don't know whether they spent half the season so far, the first 3 games, trying to make it a pocket pass situation. And now they've turned it around. They're trying to let him run the ball. But neither one of these things work if the O-line can't protect him.
Also, this is like weird because he's from the Belichick coaching tree, and this has always been a problem for the Patriots, but never been a problem for Bill Belichick, right? He's never had the best offensive line or the best defense. Always a bend but don't break sort of defense, and yet BOB's not letting that happen. What are your thoughts on, Jacksonville hasn't really looked so good over the past 2 weeks, but they've been on the road. The running game hasn't been established. Now they're going back to Jacksonville. Do you think that they're able to return to Saxonville form?
Well, I don't know. I think they're more concerned about trying to figure out what that offense is going to do because Fournette hasn't been really able to do anything a lot this year. They've given it to Yeldon a little bit, and it's working.
He's hurt too.
You know what I'm saying? It's working, but he's really playing through a hurt ankle, I think, right now at the same time. So they're not running on full cylinders right now. So I think the Texans can catch them slipping this weekend. Texas defense is looking good right now. I'll take that.
The Texans could catch them slipping, but you know who else could be slipping? The Chicago Bears offense last week, but we didn't really get into the running back situation. What's your take on the running back situation and who to run with Howard or Cohen? Which one are you rolling with?
You actually said, so I said last week that I thought Howard could get going against the Dolphins because since William Hayes went out, they'd been a pushover against the run. And you said, Marty, but can Jordan Howard produce? And I said, well, against Miami, yes. They need to get Tariq Cohen involved, but I believe in Howard. You're right. He's not producing. He had 0 catches in back-to-back games. Here's my thought, and tell me if you think, since you were looking at this ahead of the way I was. Mitch Trubisky is a kind of quarterback, I think, limited sample size, that likes to feel it. He needs to feel it a little bit, and he does not feel comfortable checking down to Jordan Howard right now. He wants to check down to Tariq Cohen for whatever reason, and he's also a quarterback that needs to pass on the move. He's not a pocket guy yet. And I think Nagy's like, okay, if that's what's going to develop this quarterback, then that's the running back I'm going to throw out there.
Well, see, there's what you call a scat back. Right? The scat back is the one you want to throw it to.
Sure.
Right? You know, you got your James Whites, guys like that. There's not a lot of Brian Westbrooks, LeVeon Bells, or LaShawn McCoys out there who could do both, hit the hole and catch the ball. You got your power running backs. No one ever talks about Adrian Peterson catching the ball. Right?
Alfred Morris.
So he's a good type of guy. The type of runs that you call for him and what the offensive line blocks for him is going to be totally different from what they do with Tariq. You know what I'm saying? So
that makes him super game script dependent. Like, if they're not up, and I don't know if the Bears are going to be up, even with that amazing defense, then he's not going to get the touches.
But he's also a running back that you got to get going. You got to get the right plays. If he doesn't get going early, especially when you got another running back producing, coaches tend to go away from that. You know, it's like, oh, this guy's going, he's don't get early, so he loses his confidence because now he's pressing. Right, he doesn't feel like they haven't been mixing them in very well. It's been this guy this game, this guy the next game.
Taylor Gabriel's getting involved on jet sweeps.
It's never been everybody producing together. Once everyone starts to get in and know what their roles are each week, they can produce at a higher level. But right now, Jordan Howard don't know is he playing this week, getting a lot of touches, or is he going to get one touch, or they going to throw him a screen. They got to give him some stuff to build up his confidence,
a rhythm,
and build up Trubisky's confidence in him with the check downs and stuff that he can't do. But Jordan Howard say he's not a catching back, but he doesn't have to be.
But
Jimmy Graham's not blocking tight end.
It's a new day now,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. You got to do everything.
This is a new day, right? They want running backs that are triple threats. They want a running back that can run, that can catch, and also block. This is something that people don't really talk about, usually when the tight end situation comes in. But I think Tariq is the player that's going to be a little bit more versatile in their play. Jordan Howard's a great back, right? But he's a straight down the middle, no finesse or anything, just kind of power the ball through. And they want a running back that could be a little bit more of a threat in the backfield.
Yeah, but he's not going to be able to get as many touches and carry the game as long as Jordan Howard would be able to do because he's a smaller guy. He can't take as a pounder, and he can't pound the ball after
Giovanni Bernard. Giovanni Bernard gets it done.
They also have
would
Taylor
solve
Gabriel.
their running problems in Chicago. It's the guy who's sitting on the couch and passing up on $850,000 each week.
No, he's not going to be a good fit for Chicago.
Why not?
Drew Brees and the Saints are facing the Ravens defense that sacked Marcus Mariota 11 times last Sunday. How's this one going to go?
I mean, if there is ever an offense that could test the Ravens' defense, it's Drew Brees and the Saints right now. Ted Ginn is probably not going to play. He's still hurt, so maybe Traquan Smith gets to go, and maybe a former Bear, Cameron Meredith. But I think the matchup here is John Brown, who is healthy, and when he's healthy, he looks amazing. Smokey Brown of the Ravens, and Marshawn Lattimore, who is the up-and-coming cornerback. Not been nearly as efficient, coming off of a concussion and a bye. Could he be rusty? I'm going to give it to John Brown because to me, if John Brown is healthy, he is the key to a victory. And Joe Flacco's not looking like the elite Joe Flacco, right? His back isn't sore anymore. He's got a revamped receiving core. I think this is going to be a test for Drew Brees. What do you think, Bun?
Well, I mean, Drew's playing, great ball as always. It just seems like he gets better with time. And that defense is going to be hard to penetrate. But like you said, if anybody can test that defense and see what they're made of, it's a guy like Drew Brees who can easily throw 350, 400 yards if he figures out exactly who's not doing what they need to be doing. He's a guy that can pick apart that defense like anybody else, unlike anybody else.
I have him projected for 303 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns and 1 interception.
Well, I think
they've done it on the road this year. They went to Atlanta and put up a bunch of points.
Indoors.
They went to New York and they put up a bunch of points, but everybody's
early in the year.
Giants,
New York,
there's only been so many games. The Saints, oftentimes, you think they struggle on the road. I think the Saints team is different. I think they are going to put up a lot of points.
I think if the Ravens defense is running on all cylinders, he doesn't get over 275 anyway.
I agree. Some fantasies are about mostly football, and other fantasies can include different fun shit. In honor of Bun being here today, if you could travel back in time anywhere to see a concert live, where, when, and would you go see it?
Me first?
Yeah, you first, ladies first. We know we all about the Me Too movement here.
All right. Well, I feel a little bit dorky in saying this because I feel like I should say the Beatles or Elvis or Janis Joplin or something like that. But the truth is, I'd really like to see Buddy Holly live on tour with Richie Valens, that last tour before he died.
Plane crash.
I thought what he did for music and politically for music was really important and never really reached its full potential because he had such a tragic passing.
That's not a bad one.
Thank you.
I probably would have went with Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock just to see the person who's, arguably the greatest guitar player ever give his greatest guitar performance ever, I think it would have been something really cool to see. And plus, everybody would have been getting high and it would have been free love and all of that. Yeah. So that's a great backdrop to a concert, too.
I'm going to go with August 15th, 1965, the Beatles at Shea Stadium. It was the largest show ever for the Beatles at that time. Also, my dad was at that concert, and I would have liked to have gotten a little turned up with my dad at the time.
Yeah, it's like the whole Marty McFly incident.
Yeah, exactly. How about you, Marty B? You going back in time? What are you going to see?
If I got a time machine, I'm not going to go see a concert. So just to let y'all guys know that, like, there's
just
a lot.
off the board.
Yeah, it's just off the board. You give me a time machine, I'm probably going to go to the Last Supper, you know, hang out. And
The Last Supper?
The Last Supper into a weed dinner.
Yeah. Tomorrow, I know you probably know what's going to happen tomorrow, but let's just get high right now.
Let's not think about it.
Let's not think about it. You know what I'm saying? I brought some fried chicken for the future because I don't know if you guys are frying chicken right now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Jesus, I feel like Jesus is black. He would really love this fried chicken. And also I brought some cornbread, some candy yams, and some collard greens. Now take all this old shit they got on the table and let's really eat and smoke. And on top of that, here's some purple Kool-Aid, Jesus.
Sounds way better than any of the concerts we would have gone to. So.
I'm sure Jesus would appreciate it.
Jesus, he probably had somebody playing the harp.
Yeah.
Have someone playing the harp in the background.
Like the harp face.
Yeah, just having a harp. You know what I'm saying?
Bring a beatboxer, somebody would have that could.
We'd love to see you at the Last Supper. Bun, we saw you on Full Size Run on Complex. You're showing off your shoe game. You obviously know your stuff when it comes to kicks. So with the NBA tipping off last night and players allowed for the first time to wear pretty much whatever shoes they want to, we wanted to get your take on a few and judge the fit.
From Fantasy Lit.
So Uncle Drew opted for the OBJ Air Force Ones pregame and then these custom Kyrie 4 PEs during the game. Your thoughts on Kyrie?
I love the custom 4s. Kyrie's got a great collection right now with Nike. They're doing some amazing things. They did the cereal pack a couple of months ago. Kyrie's had some very, very interesting ideas for the way he wants to promote his shoe and where they draw the inspiration from. I love it, man.
Yeah, Kyrie's got a little Marty B creativity in him a little bit.
I'm not mad at him. More Uncle Drew.
I like Kyrie's shoes and the creativity he has on them, but I don't like the way they're made. I like the toe box, and I can't really hoop in them, so I can't really fuck with
Like
them.
I said, just a little bit of Marty.
Yeah.
You a big hooper, Marty?
I still hoop.
Yeah. Yesterday, Lonzo Ball showed off his brand new Big Baller brand shoes. These aren't going to cost you $495. No, a little discount, $200. A little bit more manageable, don't you think? Thoughts on the latest from Lonzo?
I'm still not sold on these shoes. I like the idea of an athlete taking more charge of the direction of his brand. I like the idea of what the dad wanted to do. I just don't think the dad was the best spokesman for the brand. But I mean, you know, I'm happy for Zoe. He's got his own shoe. You know, he came into the league with his own shoe. It's just nothing I would really want.
This is ugly. This looks like those movies from the 80s when the ladies are wearing Reeboks on the way from the train, like in Working Girl.
That's what.
This is ugly.
So
What
all they did was remake the Mars Blackman.
Melody
They
Griffith
remade the
like
Mars
that.
Blackman commercial, which I didn't like. I thought the shoe was way better than the first one they made. I wouldn't rock them. The BBB to me is just a whack logo, and I mean, they should just find some way to make a B with a 3. So it identifies 3 Bs. It just needs a redesign.
Backwards.
I love the idea, hate the execution. I think we could agree on that.
Well, his teammate on the Lakers, Kyle Kuzma, executed a nice deal with Sneaker Marketplace GOAT, kind of outside the box for Kuzma and his team. What do you guys think about?
I love the concept of this because this determines that he's going to always have fresh heat on his feet and he won't be locked into just one particular shoe. I think with GOAT, he'll be able to wear Nikes, Jordans, Adidas, Reebok, whatever he feels is fresh. And GOAT's going to always have access to not just the hot sneakers of now, but the hottest sneakers ever. So he might be trying to give PJ a run for his money right now.
And this is the coolest guy on the Lakers. So I think it's a good move for him. He's going to bring a lot of swag. He's going to be, you know, he dresses well. I think this is a guy to look out for the future in fashion and on and off the court.
So you think this is the coolest guy on the Lakers?
Yes.
Like, what do you mean, like swag?
It's like pure cool. I don't think LeBron's a cool guy, like naturally cool. I think he has some cool stuff around him, but I don't think he's like a cool person.
No, he's real laid back.
I mean, he's like, when I say cool, I mean like just swag, like all around just coolness.
Like Wiz. He does cool
brought
shit.
so
much swag and
he does cool shit, but like
grace and class to our show.
There's some people that dress well because people dress them, and then there's some people who dress well because they're fresh. Is that what you feel like, Colin? Sounds like a dude is his own.
As always, and as you guys know, the NFL, like the NBA, a copycat league, and with ratings on the fritz the past couple of seasons, execs are willing to try anything to capture the young audience. This apparently includes copying popular video games.
Today's kids just aren't watching football anymore. They're watching video games.
Nerds!
That kid Ninja's making 7 figures a month by streaming Fortnite.
What the hell is Fart Knife?
My son plays it all the time. I hear him talking about epic pumps and slurp juice. It all sounds so sexual.
Everyone is getting in on Battle Royale.
If Battle Royale is what these people want, we're gonna give them Battle Royale.
The first week of Football Royale is almost in the books. We started the day off with over 100 men on the field. Well, it looks like we're down to the final 2.
Oh, chill. Oh, man. Man, this is ridiculous. Hey, this ain't the game I signed up for.
Tell me about it. I'm pretty sure I just killed a long snapper at the 50. Yeah.
Hey, man, we can end this right now. All we gotta do is take a knee.
All right, let's do it. Together.
Together.
Yeah. Hey! Oh,
damn, looking ass. I win!
Oh, and he fools him with the old fake protest kneel.
Hold up, where the music at? Why ain't the game over?
And it's the kicker coming out of hiding. What an upset!
Damn! Some things never change.
Bun B, obviously an OG in the rap game, a Hall of Famer. So in your honor, we've got a hip-hop bracket, NCAA tournament style, and we're going to crown the best of all time. This is our list of Sweet 16 MCs, okay? So there have been some upsets in the first 2 rounds. Some names obviously not on the board. UGK not on the board.
Yeah, I was going to ask about what's up with that.
I mean, we already know it's in the Hall of Fame. We don't need you to tell everybody.
Okay.
You can't vote for yourself, you know?
All right, I believe that.
I know Marty's Upset Currency's not on there.
And DMX is not on there.
And DMX isn't on there, but we're not gonna get to that. There's some upsets in the first 2 rounds. So all that being said, grab your Sharpie, Bun, and let's start with the North. Kanye and Chance. Who's the king of Chicago?
All right, we're going just purely on the rap, right? Just on who they are.
The body of work.
Yeah. Not their personal life.
Not their meetings with the president.
We just judging music.
Got nothing to do with their hats, right?
No, not what hat they're wearing.
All right, well, this one's going to be pretty easy. Don't get me wrong, Chance the Rapper is an amazing new talent. I love his content. I love the direction where he comes from. You know, he's not scared to express his faith, his spirituality, but just on body of work and their contributions to the culture musically, you have to give this one to Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Kanye's done a lot of amazing music. He's put together some pretty classic albums, Late Legislation. So we're gonna go ahead and start with Kanye on this. And again, my handwriting's gonna be trash on
My Dark Twisted Fantasy Nightmare is one of the best albums of
absolutely.
Wow.
I liked our 808 and Heartbreaks, actually.
808 and Heartbreaks.
Crazy. It's been, 15 plus years all of a sudden for Kanye West. So yeah, the body of work for sure. Moving on in the North.
Eminem versus Drake. This one is not the hardest one to come to. I think a lot of purists would automatically go with Eminem over Drake simply because of the argument of whether or not Drake has, songwriters or whatever. And then Eminem literally has written some of the best bars anyone has ever spit in hip hop. So this one is, again, another easy one for me. I'm going Eminem on this.
Did you listen to a lot of M growing up, Marty?
Yeah, Slim Shady changed my life. Hi, my name is. Kids, you want to do what I did? Stick 9-inch nails to each one of your eyelids. Try to sit. Get more fucked up than my life is. My brand's dead wave. That shit was tight, man. Shit.
Would not have been the artist I thought you would have connected with.
There you go.
Well, I listen to a lot of music.
Next up is the East. What do we got? So we got a playing game in the East.
We got a playing game. So before we can pick this, of course we got Biggie here. Obviously Biggie won these early rounds easily. The play-in is Tribe Called Quest versus Wu-Tang. Both of these prolific groups, both of them have legendary albums. I'm gonna probably go with Tribe Called Quest, and the reason I say that is Wu-Tang is for the people. Wu-Tang is something that people really got into, was embraced by the culture. Tribe Called Quest is really more of a critic's darling. I think, they're more of your favorite rapper's favorite rapper kind of thing. So I'm gonna go with Tribe Called Quest in this over Wu-Tang.
I like the professor approach you're taking up there too.
He is a professor. You can tell that he's
I'm just write Tribe right here.
Holds lectures all the time in class.
But I feel like
Tribe and Biggie.
The Wu, the Wu's great though.
Yeah, they've had some missteps though. Some of these.
Don't get it twisted. Wu-Tang is one of my favorite groups. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I know how. Nobody's really dying for a new Wu-Tang album in that sense.
So a lot of people died when what's name bought the rights to that album.
Everybody was
Biggie and Tribe now, 1 and 4 in the.
Well, and here's the thing, right? The play-in to me doesn't even really matter because at the end of the day, you're going up against literally one of the best people to ever execute the craft. Biggie, while he didn't have a long bio of work, everything he wrote was near classic. All the songs, everything. People draw from it for hooks. He's one of the most recited artists ever. So we're going to automatically give this one to Biggie, regardless of who the play-in winner was going to be. This was always going to be Biggie's win. Now here's the one. Here's the one, right? Nas versus Jay-Z. And for me,
Jay-Z.
This one for me is not easy. These are both good friends of mine. Both people that I looked up to as writers, you know what I'm saying, and businessmen for that matter.
One of those guys gave you a record, though, that you're going to perform for the rest of your life around the world. So
Absolutely.
Someone tells me I know
it's very hard.
You're going with the 3 seed.
It's very hard for me to not be biased about this. But the reason I say Jay-Z is because Nas doesn't put out as much work as he used to. Jay is still very prolific, still putting out solo albums, putting out albums with the wife.
The record with Kanye this summer, yeah, the record earlier this year.
That was a terrible album, terrible beat selection.
Well, I just think that Nas is not as pressed about his lyrical legacy because Nas has already written certified classics.
Yeah.
I feel like Jay is still working to build a lot of his catalog up. Nas still has certified classics, but I'm gonna go with Jay just on being more prolific.
But Nas had the LeBron effect. His first album was just so, like he came out into the game just on top.
Heading west now, Tupac and Snoop. People forget Pac was signed to death row for 9 months.
And then, you know, with Snoop, you've got the same issue that you got with a Nas. Like Snoop came out the door and his first album was so incredible, you end up spending your rest of your career trying to live up to that. And I don't know if anybody could handle going up against Tupac. I mean,
we did a story on the show last week saying he's about to put out 2 more albums. So.
But again, we're talking about lyrical ability and putting music out as opposed to who they were, because Tupac was never really the best rapper, right? But he was the most influential, the most dynamic rapper. And I think the West Coast would agree with me that—
I think Snoop is influential too, though.
Snoop is the most popular rapper ever.
Yes.
Snoop makes sense in every
I don't think there's another rapper.
Snoop's at the High Times Awards. He's the
I don't think
Kid's
there's
Choice.
another
He's at
rapper's
the Super
face
Bowl.
that
He's
would
at
be
the
more
Oscars. He's
recognizable
Snoop.
than
He's in every single room.
But I feel like even Snoop would give it up to Tupac. I'm gonna have to give it up to Tupac.
Doggy Style is one of my favorite. I thought you was gonna say position, but I'm talking about album.
No,
one of my favorite albums of all time.
Skits on that
So
album.
we're definitely picking Tupac on that. Now this one is interesting. NWA versus Kendrick. If this was Ice Cube versus Kendrick, it'd be more of a battle. But because it's NWA, you've got Ice Cube and Eazy-E versus Kendrick. And I think that's a no-brainer that NWA wins this. Even though Kendrick will probably end up being one of the top 5 best rappers of all time.
There would be no Kendrick without NWA.
But that doesn't play into this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because that would
So
change
you're
a
going,
lot
so
of
you're
things.
going just the Cube effect on top of Dre, on top of Easy. It's just too much.
Yeah, it's just too much West Coast.
All right,
Yeah, you know.
too much West Coast. All right, playing game in the South as we continue on our Hip Hop Hall of Fame bracket.
Okay.
Scarface
so we got
and Mr. 3-2. Who's Mr. 3-2?
Mr. 3-2 is one of the members of the Convicts, and Mr. 3-2 is one of the best rappers to ever come out of the South. But he died recently, and he never really got to live up to his full extent. You know what I'm saying? But he was always one of the best rappers. There was a time where we argued who was the best rapper in the city of Houston, whether it was Scarface or Mr. 3-2. But eventually Scarface did win that battle. But I say Mr. 3-2 because if you're from the South and you really pay attention to lyrics, you know that this dude was hell. You know what I'm saying, to keep up with for a couple of years. So we're gonna go Scarface on this one.
No Big Hawk, Lil Kiki.
Now,
those dudes are popular and they're prolific, but we're going with straight lyrics. Lil Kiki is an argument for this right here, right? Against Mr. 3-2.
Now, is Scarface going up against the entire Dungeon family? Is he going up against Outkast? Is he going up against just Andre?
He's going up against Outkast, so he's going up against Andre and Big Boy on this one. And I think that's where it goes. I think Andre and Scarface would probably be right on that same playing field, but with Big Boy in there, I'm sorry, I have to give it to Outkast. And Face is gonna get me for this too.
I think Big Boy's underrated.
I know he's underrated.
As a lyricist.
Big Boy underrated?
Yes. My handwriting's getting worse and worse and worse.
Now, this is a tough one. You circled this matchup, Bun, before we even got started.
Yeah, this is one of those that you mark your calendar with, you know what I'm saying? Both of these dudes are really, really good rappers. Both of them are prolific. Both of them have great punchlines. Both of them have great cadence, voices, videos, everything. But at the end of the day, I think we have to give it to Lil Wayne.
Yes.
I mean, Lil Wayne's impact on the culture is really, very few people on this board have impacted the culture more than Lil Wayne. If you look at every rapper right now, everybody's got dreadlocks, everybody's got tattoos on their face, and 1 out of every 3 rappers has Lil in front of their name. So I think it goes without saying Lil Wayne wins this one.
I'm just upset that Silk the Shocker wasn't on there.
Oh, Silk. I gave Silk the Shocker like 20 points in my basketball league 2 years ago. All right, next up, the North. Let's go to Kanye and Eminem.
This is a no-brainer. Eminem's gonna win this one, hands down. They both had big albums, both had, you know, classic albums, but M's had more and M's just done more.
Both pissed off too.
We're going Eminem
All right,
on this.
let's go on, who do you got next in the East? Biggie and Jay.
Gotta give it to Biggie.
Brooklyn's finest.
We gotta give it to Biggie. We're gonna use your argument, Marty. There is no Jay-Z without Biggie.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And Jay-Z's bars and Jay-Z's lyrical flow, while pretty much on par with Biggie, is still playing catch up.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Biggie was the best breathing cadence. If you ever listen to a rap, like when he breathes, his breath control is just.
All right, so we got 2 of the final 4. We go out to the West now, Tupac and NWA, Bun B.
Whew, this is a tough one right here. These are both staples. But we're talking about legacy, and I still think Tupac stands amongst the greats on this.
One was great in movies, the other was a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ice Cube has made some of the best movies.
That's right, that's true.
He's changed. Ice Cube's the only person that can say, fuck the police and then make Are We There Yet?
Right. But I'm gonna go with Tupac. I feel like Tupac's a deeper staple on this one, so I'm just gonna go with Tupac.
Outkast and Wayne for the King of the South.
Oh, that's
a
tough
one. You can't
one.
vote for yourself.
Yeah, this is a big one. Outkast versus Lil Wayne. And here's the thing about Outkast. Here's what separates both of these two, because Lil Wayne, obviously, and Andre 3000 are 2 of the best to ever do it. Big's, you know, highly underrated. But Outkast also produced a lot of their records too. And I think we got to give a little credit to that.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
So I'm gonna go Outkast on this one.
Ooh.
They didn't have a Manny Fresh.
Eminem and Biggie, who you got?
M.
Eminem
Were
and
they on the
Biggie.
Dead Wrong song together?
Yeah.
And who had the best verse on that when they both was on the same playing field?
I think
same
Biggie.
time? You thought?
But the thing is that M got to hear Biggie's verse. That's it. You don't get credit for that.
Big has all types of records.
You don't get credit for that.
And Big enunciates. You go to an Eminem show, the crowd's not singing the words.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go to a rap. You don't have to go to a rap show to hear people sing Biggie songs.
Yeah.
Oh no, Biggie songs
Big
can
and
play
M, who you
anywhere,
got,
yeah.
Bun?
I'm going Biggie, man.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And then Pac and Outkast on the other side of the Final 4.
That's the contest.
I think that, but Andre and Big Boy had just the amount of impact on the culture and the world as Tupac did.
No, you can go to any country around the world with a
Tupac
Tupac shirt on. And
Tupac versus Biggie
means something in that
in
country.
the championship round.
And this is the ultimate barbershop conversation.
Yeah, I knew we were going to get to
right
this
here,
point.
Biggie or Tupac.
Where's Maverick Carter when you need him?
Nah.
Both of them, you know, had short careers. Both of them very, you know, emphatically impacted the culture. And this would just be my personal choice on this one. I'm gonna have to go with Biggie on this.
Yeah.
I know people are gonna like that I picked Biggie over Pac, but we're talking about skills and talent. And in my opinion, you know, being around MCs pretty much all my life, being around some of the best people, no one gets more admiration as a writer, just purely as a writer, than Biggie does. No one in the culture.
We'll make sure we get him some security on his way out of LA.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch the next plane.
Well, class is over.
Sure.
Thank you, Professor Bun B, for this.
I apologize for my handwriting.
Educational.
I do better with chalk.
Who is the praying mantis actually praying to? And are his or her prayers being answered? Amen. Deep shit.
Marty's normally the one who gets to do cool shit on the show, but this week I hit up the Rams practice facility with my buddy, actor, director, and former college quarterback Josh Duhamel.
Okay, so you gotta get here.
So where am I snapping here?
Yeah, you're snapping.
Okay. Is this your low point for promoting a movie? Wow, we're all in shock out here. Wow, the really handsome guy who looks like a quarterback can catch punts. Why do you love football so much? Like, honestly, of all my friends, you genuinely love football.
I think it's because I played it my whole life. You know, I just love the game. I think the game is It's one of the best, if not the best sport in the world. It's a brutal game. I'm lucky that I got out of it without any major injuries.
Did you ever have any close calls, or do you remember a time you got sacked?
I remember specifically one time in high school, I looked up and I saw like perfectly shaped stars like flying across my eyes. I was like, whoa, like perfectly shaped little bright stars, and that had to be a concussion.
That happened to me at Coachella too. I just
Did it?
looked up in the desert and I saw all the stars.
That was probably something else.
What's going on with your Vikings this year? Do you really feel like this is the year? Do you feel like Kirk Cousins magic?
Team's gonna be good. They're definitely gonna be in contention.
I always give you so much respect for that, dude, for sitting out there in the cold. It was a tough loss. Was that like rock bottom for you as a fan?
They were in Gopher Stadium, outdoors. It was, I think, 60 below or some crazy cold temperature. And I remember I had this parka, I had this hat, these ski goggles. I had stuffed like a 40-ounce beer in my pocket. That's what the heartbreak is all about. Being a Vikes fan, it's been tough.
I know you haven't been watching as much this season because you've been editing your film Buddy Games.
Right.
And you got to direct for the first time, which is super cool.
It was the most difficult and satisfying thing I've ever done. Yeah. The whole premise came from this thing we do every year called the Buddy Games, where my buddies all get together from all over the country for a weekend of competitions. And the movie, I guess the overriding theme is that, you know, friendships become more valuable as you get older. But the movie is outrageous, as you've seen.
Yo, your sense of humor, for people who don't know you, is gonna come out in this movie in ways that people have never seen.
It could be good and it could be really bad for my career.
Now you can be a successful director because you had all the tools to be a successful quarterback. You had the cheekbones, the name Josh Duhamel, you had the arm.
The only thing I was lacking was the athletic ability.
Just didn't come together. Josh and I are gonna have a contest of how many punts we can field in a row. You wanna see best of 5, maybe?
Sure, but you didn't get any practice though.
No, I don't need it, I'm good. It's my show, I'll be fine.
Ah! Catch with the fingers. Oh. Oh, yo. You got it. Let's go to the replay. Oh. Am I bleeding?
Oh. Perfect, 5 for 5.
5 for 5. You know what we should do? We should start from up here
and go back.
Sudden death, and we gotta run it down.
All right, playoff.
Got it. I could do this all day. I love this.
What a surprise. Josh won. Wow. Oh, yeah, easy.
Oh.
Ooh. Shit's hard catching punts, dude. You didn't do that in the NFL?
Yeah, I don't catch punts. I'm too tall.
Yeah, I was that was my excuse.
But y'all just look bad overall. You know what I'm saying? Like Adventures of Marty usually exciting and super great and over the top. And here we have you guys need to get a Rams players to take a visit.
Well, Josh showed up in his Vikings jersey and they were like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
Talk about white privilege.
Oh, get out of here. All right, well, you've got something next week that you're doing, right?
You got another weekend warriors.
Hey,
I know.
Next week on Adventures with Marty, we're back to our regular scheduled program, and I'm going roller derbying. I'll be skating, jamming, and blocking with the Angel City Derby. These ladies are no joke, not to be fucked with. I wasn't as bad as you might think, and no, I didn't break another pinky, or did I?
Adam's here, so you know what that means. Time to gamble.
Time to get that money.
How you doing, man? You good?
I'm hanging in there, yeah.
Hanging in there. All right, well, a friendly reminder, last week's loser will be eating Rocky Mountain oysters today, or bull testicles as they're known. So why don't we just see how we all did, shall we? James had a huge week, winning all the bets and getting back to even on the year. I maintained my overall lead, making money for the 3rd straight week. Then it all came down to Sunday night's Pats and Chiefs game from Marty and Adam. The Pats won 43-40, but didn't cover the spread of 3.5, missing by just half a point. So, that being said, Marty, you are the big loser for the 3rd week in a row. Chef Nick, where's Chef Nick? Bring on the balls, dude.
Bring out the balls, Chef Nick.
Is that what this show's about?
Ooh, cooking up something real greasy back there, huh, Nick?
Oh, yeah.
It's a delicacy, isn't it, though,
Real
Chef?
special.
Yeah, that's for you there, Marty, so enjoy.
Walk that shit that way.
I didn't see you at breakfast this morning in the cafeteria, so I know you're hungry.
I told you to take the points.
I don't bet anyway, so.
Come on.
You got to pay your debts. You got to pay your debts. Come on,
really?
man.
That's the kind of
All you,
teammate you
come on,
are
man.
around mostly football, huh? That's
Yeah,
the
that
kind
is
of
you.
teammate
That's
you are.
Gotta pay
Did
your
y'all
debts.
really think that I was gonna eat this shit?
It's fried.
It's fried up, dude.
So since I'm black, fried makes it better?
Nope, fried makes it better than the non-fried
Fried makes
option.
everything better.
Amen to that.
You need
Bun B.
cocktail sauce?
I ain't fucking with. I don't eat cocktail sauce.
If you're really not
Why
going
would I
to
put cocktail sauce on balls? Just doesn't sound right.
You do have a point there. All right, you're gonna have some ball bite by the time we're out of here.
No, I'm not.
All right, first up this week, one of the most storied rivalries in the NFL. The Cowboys and Dak Prescott, they travel up north to take on the Redskins. Both teams are coming off impressive wins. Adam, are you buying the Skins as 1.5-point favorites?
I am not. This is a rivalry game, so look to take points. Also note the Redskins are 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 games, following a straight-up win. And the road team in the series is 7-1 against the spread in the last 8 meetings. I got $100 on Marty's old squad, the Cowboys, rolling into this one.
Marty, who you betting on now that you're chickening out on eating the
I just after life or whatever it is shit, I just don't see why people gamble, so I'm not participating in gambling no more.
Because you lost, that's why.
Yeah, because you gotta eat.
When you were winning money, you
Spoken
were
like a true gambler
Well,
after
no,
losing.
I never wanted to do. I don't gamble, so for me to participate in things I don't like to do, even falsifying my brand as a gambler, I just don't want to do it no more.
Why didn't you bring that shit up last week before?
I bring it up every week.
Before these balls came into play.
No, I play it up every week. I don't gamble.
Watching shitty NFC East teams is not something I like to do, but I am going to bet on the Redskins and Cowboys this week. Who do you have, Bun?
I'm going to take the Redskins on this one. You know what I'm saying? You know, 'cause I'm from Houston.
He's just never taking
I'm just
Dallas.
from Houston. I'm just never going to pick Dallas for anything except to lose.
I feel you. I'm with you, man. I'm going with the Redskins. I'm taking it for $200. And
I'm taking it for $250.
$250 for Bun B. I'm going 50 on the over as well. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. All right, second game of the weekend. Next up, we got the imposing defense taking on a high-powered offense. The Saints travel to Baltimore. It's 2.5-point underdogs. The Ravens pitched a shutout last weekend, sacking Marcus Mariota 11 times. Well, the last time the Saints played, they hung up 43 points. Which side are you on, Adam?
I've been saying it for weeks now, but fade the teams getting over 60% of the bets on them. They're covering an abysmal 30% clip. And heading into this one, Ravens are getting roughly 33% of the bets on them and over 66% of the money, which means the sharps and the pros out there are loving Baltimore. You should too. $100 on the Ravens.
Okay. All right, who you got in this one, Bun B?
I love the Saints. I'm a big Drew Brees fan. You know what I'm saying? Drew Brees is going to go down in the books as one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He is going up against a defense that's on fire right now. But I'm still going to give it to Drew. I think Drew will get over 300 yards passing, and I think they'll make it work.
Yeah, this game scares me, so I'm only putting $50 on it of fake money. I'm going with the Ravens at home, -2.5. Last but not least, the Jets, of course, are hosting Kirk Cousins. The Jets are 3-point home dogs. Are you back in the mean green? How do you bet on a game where the Jets are involved in it?
Well, if you could see my kicks right now, you would know which way I'm leaning in this one definitively. But know that the Jets are 10-2 against the spread in the last 12 games in the Meadowlands. And the Vikings heading to this one, I feel like it's a trap game for them. They were home last week, go on the road against a team they almost never see and maybe underrating. And next week they have a huge Sunday night matchup against the Saints. So I got $100 on my squad back in New York, rolling with the Jets in this one.
Wow, going with the home team. All right, so let's go to Bun B's picks.
I'm taking the Vikings.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big Kirk Cousins guy. I really like when he gets it going, it's good. And I think this is his time to turn it around.
Yeah, people forgot this is a team that was a game away from the Super Bowl last year.
Literally.
So I'm going for the Vikings -3 for $100. Before we get out of here, James isn't here, but he's not forgotten, of course. He is taking Cowboys, Saints, and the Vikings all for $100 each. Adam, appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for bringing the Rocky
We tried. You could have paid somebody to eat them.
Time now for the ugly ass dog pick of the week. All right, go Broncos. From an ugly-ass dog to an ugly-ass throw. By now you've seen Conor McGregor attempting to throw a football. It's kind of worse than me throwing a football. Is that even possible? McGregor should take lesson, though, from Carly Lloyd. The U.S. soccer great booted a 45-yard field goal. Made it look easy. I know Marty doesn't have respect for kickers. We got to respect Carly Lloyd for kicking that one, no?
I mean, kickers are cool.
Kickers are cool might be the quote of the show. Speaking of McGregor, our parting gift, Skip Bayless doing his best Connor strut. Take a look. No worries.
Oh, there he is.
All right, you're better than that, Skip. Thanks for watching Mostly Football. Check us out every Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock on the West Coast on Complex and Yahoo Sports. Big thanks to the Trilogy himself, Bun B, for guest hosting.
No problem.
That was awesome, dude. Marty oftentimes likes to kind of send us off with a freestyle, so I don't know. You guys want to spit something?
Marty, you gonna spit something? You want me to spit?
Yeah, go.
Okay, we got a beat going. This the Trilogy in here. I've been in here, man. I'ma always be in here. Chilling with the young homies, Marty and Ben. And you already know that this that B-U-N to the B. Reppin' UGK for life, and you know that. Got them freestyle skills, baby, gon' show that. And it's already known that I represent the hood, y'all. This is Bun B, I guess hosted mostly football.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason for me to rap after that one.
To the professionals. You don't want to hurt yourself there, Marty. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace. That was awesome. Thanks.
That's great.
Nah, man, thank y'all.